Institute here. Susan Pendergrass is the Director of Education Policy at the Show Me Institute. Good morning, Susan.
Good morning. How are you?
Any relation, Pendergrast?
To?
The Pendergast machine in Kansas City that elected Harry Truman president?
Not that I'm aware of, but it's a name I married, so I'm not positive.
Oh, okay, so it's the other side.
Potentially.
He was the guy, he was the money guy behind Truman. He was the...
wow.
Of the Pendergast machine.
Usually I get asked about Teddy Pendergrass.
Any relation to Teddy Pendergrass?
Not that I'm aware of.
None whatsoever. Okay, fair enough. All right. Director of Education Policy at the Show Me Institute. All right, so this week is School Choice Week?
That's right.
What does that mean?
It's National School Choice Week, which means the 29 states that have school choice programs, there'll be 32,000 plus celebrations of parents being able to access private school choice programs,
Right.
a variety of programs. We don't have them here in Missouri.
How do we not have school choice here in Missouri? Do we not have charter schools?
We do have charter schools, and for a limited group of parents, St. Louis, Kansas City, they may have the option of choosing a charter school. But the
Right.
whole rest of the state has no choice.
So we have limited choice?
Very limited choice,
Right.
and very geographically limited.
Yeah. And so you are raising awareness about school choice reforms.
Exactly.
If you could wave a magic wand, what would you want?
I would want every parent to have multiple high-quality options to choose from when they make a decision on where their child will be educated. I would want them to include charter schools, public schools, private schools, homeschooling,
Right.
or a combination of thereof, because kids are all unique and different, and parents, it's an important decision to make, and every parent wants the same thing, which is a great education, and it isn't always the public school that you're assigned to by your address.
Right. If you were to sort of throw open the floodgates like that, wouldn't that overwhelm the system? Wouldn't every kid want to go to Ladue, and Ladue just can't handle the influx of all those kids?
Well, sure, of course. It would only be seats that are available, and that would be an extreme example of complete school choice. But yeah, I think that's the way it should be, and you can see in the research that when that happens, the public schools where the kids stay in their school also do better. So you do get sort of a competitive effect out of that.
What do you say to the criticism that, hey, you know what, school choice is great. My kid's going to private school, and I'm paying for the private school, but I'm also paying my property taxes. If you open up this, I can now take my property tax money that was going to the public schools, and I can now use it for my own kid to the private school. So I've just gotten a benefit of sending my kid to the private school, but taking away money from the public schools.
Well, technically, your child's not in the public school, so I don't know about this whole taking away of the money. I do feel like the money should follow the student and not be based on the buildings. But typically, I mean, we've got in our blueprint that we just put out this week that you can get on showmeinstitute.org, we have an idea on education savings accounts where the state portion of the funding would go directly to the parent of a private school student on a debit card, and they could swipe it at approved educational service providers and tailor their child's education. Those are usually means tested, which means they serve low-income and middle-income parents, not the parents who can already afford the private school.
So you're saying there would be some type of mechanism. What I meant by that was that if I'm a parent sending a kid to a private school, right, and then the money goes with the kid, that kid would then have the money to use any way he wants, and I would give it to my private school, taking it away from the public school.
So the state allocates about $6,500 per student, per public school student,
Right.
and this would be just allowing this parent of a private school student who meets the income limit to get that $6,500 to spend.
So there would be an income limit. So if you're making over $100,000,
Exactly.
you wouldn't necessarily just give a benefit to some rich parent who's sending their kid to a
That's right.
$20,000 a year school.
That's right.
I will say this, that some of you go to any one of these dinners and you talk to parents of children who were allowed to leave a failing school to go to a better school. It breaks your heart that these kids are sort of trapped in these terrible schools.
Yeah.
But is it the school or is it everything else they're surrounded with?
It's a combination of both. So the great thing about charter schools is they come with the promise that they'll only be open for a certain number of years, and if they're failing, they get closed.
Right.
Non-charter public schools can stay open forever and be a failing school, and kids can spend their entire educational career in a failing public school. And basically, the public schools will say, we're working on it, we need more money, we're going to fix it, we're going to get it fixed. Meanwhile, kids are going through that system.
Right, but the failing school doesn't happen in high-income zip codes.
Well,
They usually happen in poorer communities, tougher communities, communities that have sort of been hit by all sorts of social ills. So is it the school, or is it the people who are walking into the school?
so I think, George Bush said it's the soft bigotry of low expectations.
Yeah,
if
it's a
those
great
kids
line.
can't perform, right? Of course they can. And we've had some outstanding charter school networks, large networks serving hundreds of thousands of kids that targeted those exact kids and said, we think we can do this. We think we can do what the public school system has said they can't do. And and they've proven out. I mean, massively positive impact on their students. The KIP program, there's an IDEA public school that serves 50,000 students in the Rio Grande Valley of Texas. Non-English speakers, 100% high school graduation, 100% college going, all low-income students. It can be done.
Yeah.
There's lessons all over the place, and charter schools are great in being able to pilot this so that it could be scaled up.
Susan, where can we find out more information?
ShowMeInstitute.org. Check out our blueprint.
Now, what's the blueprint?
Our blueprint has a series of policy ideas that we would like this legislative session to start looking at and to start considering and get some work done for the Missouri parents and families.
And you've been on radio, 25 years now?
Yes.
How long have you been on radio?
I think 8 minutes.
You sat down.
So far.
You sat down and you said you've never done this before.
Right.
You're a natch.
Oh, all right. Here's my
Natural.
new career then.
You're a natural. Holy mackerel.
McGraw. Appreciate that.
Susan Pendergrass, who is no relation to the Pendergrass machine in Kansas City or Teddy Pendergrass,
That we know of.
the musician. Susan Pendergrass, Director of Education Policy at the Show Me Institute. ShowMeInstitute.org for more. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.